Alrighty.
Uh,
Did
All right,
you
I'll
post the
close
link?
this down
yeah,
then.
there it
Oh,
is,
there it is.
Sash. Let me know if it's working. Should hopefully work. Uh, just want to talk before Sash. So, looking at the episode, I didn't realize this, but like they have titles and synopsises, which should probably be pretty obvious to think about. I just never noticed. The description for this episode. Oh, I'm not streaming. I thought my bad. We're getting dwarves, we're getting Celebrimbor, and we're getting a Lendil.
So pretty much what we thought would happen.
Mm-hmm. Well, did we think Numenor was happening this episode?
No, I think we agreed that if it was going to show up again, it would probably be at the end of the season.
Yeah. Okay. Is our audio good, Sash?
I hear it now. Yeah.
Okay.
There was
Cool.
a little delay and it's a little quiet, but it's okay.
I can turn this all up a little bit. Uh. Okay. Yeah, this working. You there, Aya?
Yep.
Okay. Well, let's get this show on the road. Hopefully this isn't too bad. Such a bad scene, man. Just everything about it. So, what are you guys hoping to see with this episode?
Uh, the dwarves, basically. I'm hoping just as much focus on what's going on in Erigion and the dwarves.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, same.
I'm curious as to what the hell
Less
they're going to be
hobbits.
doing with Numenor, though. And I guess Elendil, like, they're making him more of a priority over there.
Well, we'll see about that. I think that like isn't going to get much more focus until the next season.
Fair enough.
I do like the designs on the dwarf rings.
Better.
Yeah, they look like they would go to the dwarves.
Looked a lot like the scene with the with the prologue. It was a cool scene.
Oh, from the Jackson films?
Yeah. I mean, without the other 6 there, but
Yeah.
it's kind of like where they set them on the table and stuff.
What's the point of
Wait,
bowing your
why?
head if you're just gonna look at him?
Yeah, why is Durin still there in the mines? I thought he apologized to his father and it was like forgiven.
Might just be like an all hands on deck thing right now.
Yeah,
But
makes sense.
I mean,
yeah.
they didn't want him there, though. Mm. Dude, I feel like they made those props just a little too bulky. Just to help, like, with the size thing. Of dwarves being small, but it
Sure.
looks a little awkward to me. I mean, I would say the same thing with the Jackson films, to be honest, though.
Well, when you've got a scene of all dwarves, they got to do something to make them feel dwarfish.
Yeah. Why does he know that if he just started mining recently? Why not? Oh, pickaxe, my bad.
Why is even Narvi like, why are you doing this? He should be like he's the king's aide. He should just be immediately on board.
True. feel like his pickaxe wouldn't have done that.
I don't mind that interpretation of the Dwarven rings.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty reasonable and interesting. At least they're like doing something.
I like how he was calling the other races slaves to the sun, but like, what does that make them?
Oh, here we go.
Hmm. Oh, okay. He finally shows up. Wait. Okay.
I think that would have been better if that was actually at the west gate, like it was carved into the mountain, rather than
Felt a
Yeah.
little
Just-
It's like
anticlimactic,
it's just
but
gonna install
yeah.
it like it's a door.
at least that felt a bit more called for and not just like useless fan service. Like
Yeah,
we're
at
waiting
least
for that to happen, you
Yeah.
know. So
yeah, we were waiting for it. So
I wish there was a little bit more fleshed out though with like Celebrimbor and Narvi's like relationship.
I also
yeah,
wish they would have made it light up the doors, but you know,
That too.
it's alright. Could have done the reveal outside.
at least Celebrimbor is not completely stupid and recognizes he's being manipulated.
True. Though, like we mentioned earlier, I don't even. He probably did even know that, like canonly. He just didn't give a shit because he wanted to make the greatest things Middle Earth has ever seen.
That's actually an interesting perspective.
Mm-hmm.
That Sauron fears Numenor, because it's fractured, and so he wants to,
Well, I think that's just him still trying to manipulate Celebrimbor. I don't know if he directly fears it.
yeah. But I mean, later, objectively, they
Yeah,
are.
well, I mean, in that case, I still don't know if he would fear it so much as recognize the opportunity to control it.
Yeah, true.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what Sauron is all about. He's manipulating people.
Dude, Celebrimbor's literally Elrond, and Sauron is Gandalf in this scene in the Fellowship of the Ring. That's a little rich coming from him, right? Since he wants to be Fëanor.
Well, I guess as far as he's concerned, he's already succeeded in what he wanted to do.
Oh, true. He made the 9 first, right?
Um,
Or did he make the
I,
7
I,
first?
I'm not sure. I think the 9 and the 7 were made at the same time, I suppose.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it's specified whether one was made before the other.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, also that kind of confirms my thing with the whole.
Yeah, that we talked about last time.
Yeah.
It's like
So it's
Celebrimbor
basically,
made the 3, they both made the 7. Sauron
Yeah.
makes the 9. That way he can fully corrupt them into Nazgul. Or at least I guess that's what they're going for. Wait, they're just going with the angle that he just randomly wants to. Did he just randomly get like really evil out of nowhere, or is that just me?
I thought that dialogue wasn't
Uh,
great, but
yeah, the dialogue's not great.
Okay.
it's like Minnesota. I don't know. That's
Looks like
Numenor.
the
Never mind.
statue of the Argonath, though. Well, no, the hand's the wrong way.
I'm pretty sure that's just the capital.
Yeah, it's just Numenor.
Hmm. What was the purpose of her character? Was it just to reveal the Palantir?
Yeah, pretty much. Which we talked about that before, how it would have made more sense if Farazan had been the one to discover it.
Mm-hmm. Wait, how did his message reach?
That's just a continued problem with this series. Like, everybody is questioning their leaders when they shouldn't have a reason to.
That's just like the too modern interpretation of things, where like
A very democratic.
just the
way,
hierarchy
you could
doesn't
say.
exist. It's like a modern world where everyone questions everybody, and yeah, that yeah, modern interpretation is what you'll get with it.
I don't like the storytelling going on in Numenor right now. I feel like they're just randomly giving way more screen time to characters that just never had it in the first place.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really like the storytelling going on anywhere, but
True.
Dwarf one's alright. Dwarf
Well-
one's always been alright, but
I like that scene between Celebrimbor and Sauron where they're debating about making the rings, the other rings.
Yeah, I feel like they've
Yeah,
done
that
an
was good.
amazing job with the two of them, the relationship between them. Am I mistaken, or is that like one of the only like relationships that isn't always surrounded by random rabble?
I think that one's good. I'm not. I don't think it. I wouldn't call it amazing personally, but I think it's good. It's definitely one of the better ones, if not the best, in this show right now. Just because like Elrond and Durin aren't together right now, but I guess given the time that they have devoted towards that storyline, they're doing a pretty good job. But I mean, in the grand scheme of things, I would have thought that Sauron and Celebrimbor, like, it would have been a little bit more of a thing, not just like a 3-minute conversation once an episode. You know what I mean? Like, it would have been more of a, like, it should have been more of a slow burn, more nuanced, more. But given the time that they've decided to set aside for it, it's good.
I mean, they wrote themselves into a corner with the Halbrand stuff last
Mhm.
season, so this is kind of the only way they can really make it work.
Yeah, it's like the best you're gonna get.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I don't understand how what they're doing in Numenor right now is the thing.
Yeah, I think
That's what
that's
I'm
such
trying
a
to that's what I'm trying to figure out. Like I feel like everything we've seen so far, like we kind of expected it to happen, but like why is it happening now in this episode?
it's a very good. The story has good bones from like Tolkien's work. Like it's the story of men who were given a bunch of things, and because of all the things that they were gifted, they still neglected to see that, and they still wanted more, and that more. So it's the vanity. You don't see that as much. It just seems like people, and I think it's very much because that they didn't. Uh, they're treating Numenorians just like men, just regular men, and so instead of highlighting that Numenorians are, greater than men. Like that's the whole point. Is they're greater. That's why they desire stuff that's even greater than that.
Mm-hmm.
And so they're not going down that because they're treating Numenorians like regular men. That that whole transition doesn't have backing because they're just men. So I mean, you can still, like, Farazan, they seeded him with the whole like, oh, the beginnings of his thing about like him wanting to go to the Undying Lands, that kind of stuff, and being envious of the elves and that kind of stuff. But it doesn't see. It just felt like that was kind of random, like you said. It was just like
Yeah, there was no
all of a sudden
backing to
he's
it. Like
just yeah. There's not a
the
Well,
last time we
it
saw
feels like
Farazan,
we're missing a scene.
yeah, the last time we
Right,
saw him, he
right.
was usurping a queen, and then
Yeah, but we didn't even see the end of that. We should have seen a little bit more of him, like, they crown him king instead of her.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like we're missing. There's context we're missing there, and also, and it's not just him. I feel it's a little bit of his son, but also Elendil's daughter. And in my opinion, this goes back to even further in that last episode where we saw Numenor. There's like I remember in that episode, every time we saw her, she was with Farazan, and it's like, why is she just now randomly with these people? Why is she so adamantly against her father? And I guess we got it here that she's sad her brother died, but like
We didn't get any of that previously, so why should we care about that?
yeah, and also why does she have apparently such a big role? Like she said to Valandil there that like I could talk to the king. Like no one should like the average person is not going to be like, "Oh, I have the king's ear. Like they'll listen to me." Why I feel like she even everything she's done, she shouldn't have as high of a position as she does, whatever that position may be.
Just because she like helped get him in power. But
She
I mean,
just
Yeah, but
found
he
a
shouldn't care
calamity.
about it that much. Like, I can kind of understand from a story perspective why, because she's Elendil's daughter, but they haven't given Elendil enough, like, power in this story for that to matter.
Yeah, as of right now,
Nor does
he's just a captain of a boat that happened
yeah.
to be friends with the queen.
I mean, even Elendil from the story. I mean, is he all that? I mean,
He's a lord. He is the lord of Andony or whatever it's called.
Yeah, he's
yeah.
pretty.
So
He's
he's
pretty
more. He's
high up
definitely more
He's
there.
powerful.
actually a really like powerful vassal within Numenor.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's up there, and I feel like they tried to give him that here, because like I mean when they went to war in season 1, he was the queen's right hand basically. But it's like we still never really saw how that happened. They just kind of gave it to him while also telling us that yeah, he's just this random captain of a ship.
They should have just made him a lord within the realm. That would have made it. It would have made all of this make a little bit more sense.
I also feel like that with everything happening in Numina right now, that where the hell is Anarian? Because like
I don't know.
I know it was said in season 1, like we talked about this a couple episodes ago, that like he's like being a hermit somewhere in the west of Numenor, but like that's BS. And even if he's a fucking hermit, I feel like he'd still come back to see his father at the least, and maybe the funeral for his brother. I don't know. I
Well,
feel.
well, if he's a hermit, then maybe he just hasn't heard about what's happened yet. Who knows?
Oh well. I guess we should see what's.
It's not like Anarian was super important to the story in the Lord of the Rings either. So he's literally just there to be Isildur's brother and joint king.
I thought he had a bit of a bigger role in the Second Age, though. Like especially after the
Really.
fall of Numenor and stuff.
Really, all his role is he's there as one of Elendil's sons. Like when they flee from Numenor, it's on was it 7 or 9 ships?
I think it was 9.
It was 7. 4 went to
Yeah,
Armor.
yeah. Four
with-
went
Oh,
to
yeah.
Elendil took 4 ships, Isildur took 2, and Anarion only got 1. So that shows you how important he is in the whole hierarchy of the family.
Isn't he the oldest?
I think he's younger. I think he's the younger brother.
Oh, okay. I thought he was the older brother for some reason. Whatever. Well, we'll see more. I guess we should now find out what these singing dwarf women are gonna. What's gonna happen to them? She was already holding that leaf. What did she snip?
Ah, I see. I like
Oh.
this.
Is she climbing up now? And where did Darren go?
Casually discovers the foundations of stone. What the hell?
That would have definitely fallen into the water.
Oh, 100%. Oh, is this supposed to be the Watcher in the water?
Oh.
Bruh, that show's expensive.
It was
That's
150.
150.
I don't know of what, but it was 150. Am I missing a dwarf? Where's this one in front of the camera, the seventh? Are they gonna dig up the Balrog at this show?
Yeah, they're definitely going to. I
As
feel like we knew
stupid as
that
that
last
is,
season, though. Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
I mean, they're already pulling all the stuff from the Third Age, so it's like, yeah, definitely.
Bro, are you kidding me? How much shit are they just gonna rip straight out of the books? Dude, with all the storylines they already have going, I feel like ripping out a Balrog out of nowhere is just. I feel like that's a little too much. Okay, what if they wake up the Watcher instead of a Balrog? Because that was
I
a.
would be okay with that if it's the Watcher instead.
I mean, it is. Which Durin is it here that does wake up the Balrog?
Durin the Sixth.
So neither of these two.
Yeah, that doesn't happen for like 2,000 years at least.
Oh, that's a third age thing, right?
Yeah, very late in the Third Age.
I thought they finished the door. What is he doing with it? Why would they tie that to the ceiling? I thought he knew how to make rings when Celebrimbor didn't. Isn't that how that worked with the three?
See, this is like this could have been such good first season stuff, but
Mm-hmm.
that's not true. Glorfindel literally has like one eye in the unseen at all times.
Yeah.
Literally all elves do. That's the point. Because their bodies and their spirits are inseparable.
I feel like this elf character is almost the exact same as Elendil's daughter.
She's not annoying, at
But
least.
like done right in my opinion.
Yeah,
They're both kind of there to be like kind of a catalyst for like the bad guy or whatever, like Farazan and Sauron in a sense. And helping to provide some context to things like whatever this is, as well as like with Celebrimbor with what was it that he made for the door? I forget that word. Itholharn or something. And then you got like Elendil's fake daughter with like the Palantir and stuff. I don't know. I'm more just dipping back into the hate on the Numenor stuff. And he's laying it on thick with her. Jesus.
He's just trying to manipulate her, you know. I'm fine with that scene.
Yo, Farzan's gonna murder all these people.
Those are some very small candles. I had to be really quick about this.
Why do they need another new aqueduct?
He's gonna be real petty about it.
Mm-hmm.
Or you're just gonna shatter it.
Probably. Dude, I don't think I wanted a person to die more in this show.
Well, don't worry. Eventually he will.
True. Okay, he's gonna die. Yo, that's how Isildur's son gets his name.
Oh, absolutely.
How was he able to outpower him? I'm so confused.
Why are none of the guards getting involved?
It's okay. Well, because the guards have to fight random civilians, of course.
Oh yeah, because it takes two guards to hold back one person.
Yeah, one untrained civilian. Yeah. Yeah, look at that. Look at this guard. He's one on one against some random woman. And then the one behind him is fighting like a farmer or something. And Elendil definitely didn't try enough. Like, what?
Or he's gonna pick it up and stab him, honestly.
Probably.
Well, I guess he broke his arm, so maybe not.
Yep.
Yeah, figured out what happened.
Where's the blood? Looks like someone took a marker on the side of the blade.
That one guard in the back is looking at this like, oh my god, what a terrible situation.
That's not. I mean, I feel like that's not how you're supposed to clean a blade.
I mean, he should be drying the blade at least.
Mm-hmm.
That's how you get rust.
Okay, there was so much emphasis on that death, it just fell flat. thought they were much closer to Region. Well, I guess they're there now. Oh, that was a short episode. What did you guys think?
I liked the moments between Celebrimbor and Sauron, and generally I like the moments with the Durins, kind of like showing how the ring is making him greedier.
Yeah, the dwarves are definitely on point.
The Numenor stuff felt completely pointless.
Yep. Overall, the storyline,
The
like,
main story, you
trying to
could say. With
well,
the
I'm trying to
ring.
say like they gave the right emphasis to the right storylines. Now, what they did with those storylines, debatable. But Numenor, dwarves, Eregion, like that's what it should
Mhm.
have been. So much better spread than the
Yeah,
last episode.
no stupid hobbits this time.
Or
I'll take it.
random elf and Isildur.
Yeah.
But don't worry, he'll show up next episode, probably.
So next episode is supposedly when the siege starts.
Yeah, makes sense. I mean, yeah, to be honest, like, not much really happened this episode. That's it. Like, it was a lot, but not really much happened because they still haven't forged the nine.
This was a lot of setup.
Yeah,
And if
it's
they didn't have the Numenor stuff, which didn't need to happen, they spent a lot of time on that scene with Valandil dying, which didn't need to happen. They could have had the Nine Rings being forged this episode if they had, you know, kept
That
more
is
of the focus on Eregion.
that's all that happened in Numenor. Correct me if I'm wrong. Like Farazan
There
randomly
was,
wants to do something, and then it just Elendil gets fired, and then Valandil dies. Like
Yeah, the Sea Guard or whatever are turning in their uniforms, and then it's them in that scene putting the candles in the water.
I feel like if they wanted to have another story, and bear with me a moment, they could have done. I regret to say this, the Hobbits, just because there was tension there when we left off. Because the Easterlings
Yeah.
were approaching Tom's place, and then they had just left the Hobbits or the Store's place, and
Yeah, true.
so
If they wanted to tie things together, they could have had to focus on Arondir and Isildur instead, because they were naturally
yeah,
heading north anyways.
yeah,
There's a
they were
few.
chasing the army. I feel like we'll see them next episode then because of that.
Yeah.
Uh, I feel like they did some Numenor here though, because right at the end, when Elrond randomly shows up in Lindon, like that felt like a throwaway scene almost.
Yeah, we didn't get to see any of the journey or like any indication that he was heading back.
That scene and the other scene with Gilgalad, honestly, they just felt like throwaway scenes. But like,
That's just setting it up because like we had the scenes with Numenor, we had Gilgalad saying we can't take this on alone, we need help. So obviously that's going to play into probably next episode a little bit more of Numenor. The elves go petition help from
I'm thinking Numenor.
Muriel and Ar-Pharazôn.
Yeah, I'm thinking that's why we saw Numenor this episode was because there
Yeah,
are
and
elves
probably
on their
what's
way
going
to
to
Numenor.
happen, probably what's going to happen is our next episode, Ar-Pharazôn is going to take Muriel as his queen, and that is what's going to get him to help the elves and send an army to help them.
Did that happen?
No, but I feel like that's what's going to happen.
Yeah, we do need a way for Sauron to get to Numenor.
Well, that doesn't happen just yet.
Yeah, I'm saying that Ar-Pharazôn has to have a reason to want to help the elves, and Muriel is the only reason, or could be a reason if they want to, because he marries Muriel. That's the point. That's what solidifies his kingship.
Yeah, but also, like, I on the point of Sauron, like, Sauron surrenders to Pharazôn, so Pharazôn, like you were saying, Laugh needs to be here. And I feel like him finishing the 9, taking the 9, naturally surrendering at a Region or something.
He
Well,
might
ideally
not
that
even
would
do
not.
that.
Ideally, that would not happen here or now. That would happen later. Like technically, he would capture him from Mordor, but and Numenor sends an army to Middle Earth twice. The first time is to save Lindon, and the second time then is to capture Sauron. But that's like 1,500 years apart. Again, they're going to condense it, but this shouldn't. I mean, who knows what they're going to do? But this shouldn't be the time that they do any of that.
Well, I'm thinking that they could
It
do something
shouldn't,
like this
but
because Sauron will not have an army. I don't see him having an army even after the siege ends or whatever. So when
well,
I
probably what's going to happen there is Adar is going to get killed, and then Sauron will try to find a way to twist that in his favor.
Because remember, like, I mean, if Ar-Pharazôn is going to capture Sauron, he doesn't even know Sauron, like, because Sauron isn't anyone right now. He's just Anatar. So Sauron has to first get the army, be in Mordor for Ar-Pharazôn to pull up, and then he's going to surrender. But it's like for now, like Sauron is still Anatar. Like he's not going to get captured because Numenor doesn't know who he is.
Yeah, all of that stuff is probably going to be next season focus.
Yeah, I'm thinking what possibility is that the elves get Pharazôn, whatever they come to Middle Earth with regards to this whole shtick in Eregion potentially, because Anatar was there when they gave the rings to the dwarves, so Anatar's gonna need to be there with and explain it to the humans, and I feel like he could pass himself off to Farazan specifically, or Muriel even if she's there. As an emissary, I made these rings. They help the elves, they help the dwarves, and just like convince them to let him go to Numenor with them to like fix problems or whatever. Like not just it's not
Could be
like
something like that.
it's
Yeah.
not a strict like he's a surrender. But it's more of like, yo, I'm Anatar, I'm Lord of Gifts, whatever. I have some gifts for you guys. Let's go to Numenor and I can show you how these work.
I mean, they absolutely take liberty with the interpretation. So
Yeah, and it's like after the Nine are made, it's not like Celebrimbor has need of him anymore. And that's another thing. Celebrimbor might not even want him around anymore. And that could appeal to Farazan, an elf-looking creature that the elves don't want anymore.
I mean, Celebrimbor also like is gonna die pretty soon, theoretically. So.
Yeah, he dies in the siege.
Yeah, Sauron kills him, right? Pretty sure that's
Well,
yeah.
the army that Sauron is supposed to be commanding, but yeah,
yeah.
I wonder how it'll happen.
I mean, they still could, for some stupid reason, have him kill Celebrimbor.
Yeah, they're probably going to do it in some way
Actually,
that
that
make
could be
cinematically, like,
that
dramatic.
actually
but-
could be a way that Sauron gets to be in charge of the orcs, right? Maybe Adar gets killed, but he kills Celebrimbor and endears himself to the orcs through that.
Yeah, could be.
Yeah, or they could have that elf like sidekick chick. I'm thinking she could kill Celebrimbor because she thinks he's falling to the corruption or whatever that she saw.
Please don't do that. Yeah, that's like
Yeah,
some
that's
random character that's stupid.
that's just stupid enough. It might be true.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
was like
might do that.
there was so much exposition around her being in that shadow realm that, in my opinion, never even needed to happen here. But like, she exposited or whatnot, convinced Celebrimbor to help, and that would have been fine with me. But it was the whole aftermath with Anatar getting into her head and whatnot, convincing her that Celebrimbor's sick and vulnerable. That like, after making the 9, he might go a little crazy against Anatar specifically because maybe he finds out the truth, but she's like already been twisted to believe that he's sick and he might be being corrupted, falling, whatnot, and just to save people, she tries to do something, ends up killing him.
I wouldn't put it past this show to put a minor original character's payoff over a proper character's respectful death. Not respectful, but like, respect the character enough to give him death by another major character, like, and not die in some.
I mean, they've already been trying to push so much with these minor characters. I mean, look at Numenor. I feel like every scene we had with Numenor here, outside of that one scene with Muriel and Elendil, it was either Valandil, Farazan's son, Elendil's daughter. Like, they were like a focal point, even.
Yeah, they were the main focus in
like
pretty much all of those scenes.
Yeah, it's like Farazan wasn't the main focal point with him and his son, which is weird to me. The whole
well, he kind of was, because I mean the scene starts with him and it ends with him talking to his son. He is the focus. It's just they shift the focus temporarily to his son for that reveal, which is what leads to him going out of his way to help his father's plans.
Fair enough. He had more screen time there. Like the camera was more on the son than Farazan, I believe. That's why I was saying that, which did feel a little weird to me. I agree with you. And then the whole retiring thing, it was all on the kids. Like, sure, Elendil was there, but he spent more time looking out of frame than anything.
Yeah, and that last scene, the focus is on Valandil and that whole struggle.
Yeah, it's these side characters that were given, in my opinion, no time to mature. No backstory.
We don't really have a reason to care about Valandil.
Like if it was Valandil fighting Farazan for whatever crazy reason that would cause, like how I don't know how that would happen, but like that would, in my opinion, that would make way more sense if the two of them were fighting in that shrine than Valandil and Farazan's son, which I believe is like who they're supposed to be representing in that scene, anyways. But like, yeah, I totally agree with you there.
It's just too much emphasis on these characters that we don't have a good, solid reason to care about.
Mm-hmm. And they've been pushing this elf chick that works with Kill, this elf smith girl or whatever, so much. I feel like she's gonna be doing something in the siege. She has to be doing something important. Otherwise, she's just been a thing for Anatar and Celebrimbor to talk to about, like,
I think, yeah, I think
random
you were right about
random
the death
exposition.
thing. I don't think it'll be her hand that kills him, but like, I think she'll play some role in like allowing his death to happen. Essentially,
Mm-hmm.
I think you're right about that.
Yeah,
Definitely.
she needs to have some role. Though, like, otherwise, all her screen time is just
If it's like
random
raising
exposition. Yeah.
raising the gate, or you know, looking by as Sauron does something, or whatever. Like,
Talking with Celebrimbor when he has the, is it the Ithilhorn or whatnot, and talking with Anatar
The
after the ring.
Ithilden?
Yeah, Theoden. I keep messing that up. It's like
Yeah,
those
Ithilharn is the
orb.
Hope Stones.
Yeah, the stones. Yeah. Yeah, but it's like all those conversations could have happened between Anatar and Celebrimbor, even to a degree, or another major character. But it's like it's with this random elf that we've never seen before, and she keeps getting screen time with important dialogue happening from her or to her. That she has to play some role in this siege somehow. But yeah, so next episode I believe is when the siege starts.
We
this it'll
actually didn't have that much to talk about this episode.
Yeah, we did.
Like,
Yeah, I mean,
not a lot really happened, if we're
yeah,
being
that's the
honest.
thing. Like, it
Mhm.
just progressed along the storylines, but like didn't really do anything novel. Like,
I mean, the big things that happened were, I would say, the only big thing that really happened that we had anything to talk about, I guess, would be the nine. And the thing was, is like
And the
we
dwarves and their rings actually working.
yeah,
yeah,
but
which there's nothing to really say about. It's
because
like
we
that was fine.
we predicted pretty much all of what happened with regards to both of those, right?
Yeah, kind of. I mean, we made a lot of predictions. We
Yeah, I don't
make
remember
a
all
lot
of
of
them.
Yeah,
predictions.
yeah.
So, like, eventually, with all the predictions we make, some of it is going to be true.
True.
There's only so many uncreative directions this show can take. Well, till next week.
Yeah.
That'll be an action bit packed episode. So
Hopefully, I mean, hopefully the siege doesn't start in the last 10 minutes.
well, if you said it was a full episode, it might.
They
It
might
might
dedicate all of
6 to
episode
7
7 to do that.
Yeah, that makes more sense actually. That
I
it
mean,
would be
just
6
I'm
to
just
7.
think about like a Game of Thrones, like episode 2 of season 8 into episode 3. Like that's technically the same. Like it's technically the same 6-hour period, but most of the fighting was in the second episode. And in my opinion, that's actually kind of almost how this episode felt to a degree. Like that episode 2 of season 8 of Game of Thrones, where they're all just talking the night before the battle. I feel like a lot of that kind of vibe. That's what I got out of this episode, outside of the Numenor stuff, of course.
I think we're going to get more vibes like that next episode.
Probably just more centered around probably Adar, Galadriel, and probably Arondir and Isildur. The 9 will probably be finished as well. Outside of that, I'm not really sure what else would happen before the siege.
The elves would send somebody, probably Elrond, to Numenor to talk to the king to get his help.
Elrond to Numenor? That's wild.
Oh,
I
yeah, his
mean,
grand
he,
uncle. Many.
yeah, he basically is. His brother was the first king of Numenor.
Yeah, that's. I mean, he's gonna? Would assume keep a hold of the ring as well.
He what?
He has a ring from Galadriel.
Well, he's not gonna wear it. At least
He
not the way the
probably
character goes.
he
Yeah.
probably gave it to Gilgalad.
Or they'll pull another thing out of Lord of the Rings and make him wear it as a necklace.
Probably not.
Dude, that's my new
Probably
favorite.
just gives it to Gilgalad.
That's
yeah.
my new favorite like mini game I'm having with this show is just puzzling out which scenes are just ripped straight out of the book. Like the scene in this episode that was basically just Gandalf and Elrond from the Fellowship, but it was Sauron and Celebrimbor talking about men.
Oh, yep.
Okay then, yeah. I have nothing else to say.
Yep.
Got anything left?
Nope.